You can always feel it before you can explain it. You walk into the room and something in the air just shifts. The way he straightens his shoulders, the subtle change in his breathing, the way his eyes seem to search for you before his mind even catches up. That's energy. That's what happens when someone is quietly in love but not ready to say it out loud. You see, love has a frequency. It's not about words. It's not about big romantic gestures. It's about vibration. You can sense it in the pauses, in the glances, in the moments between conversations when the silence speaks louder than anything else. When a man feels something deep and real, he doesn't always know what to do with it, especially if he's been hurt before or if he's afraid of losing control. So instead of stepping forward, he retreats behind calm composure. But his energy betrays him. It's alive, it's responsive, it's charged. You'll notice it in the smallest ways. The way his tone softens when he says your name, how his laughter lingers a little longer when you're the reason for it, or how he unconsciously mirrors your movements. These are not random. They're reflections of a heart trying to express what the mind keeps locked away. Most people think love is loud, that it's flowers, grand confessions, and fireworks, but often the most powerful kind of love is quiet, it's unspoken. It hides not because it's weak, but because it's sacred. He's not sure if you feel the same, and that uncertainty builds a tension that you can practically touch. Every time he's around you, he's both drawn in and holding back. He's fighting between what his soul wants to say and what his fear keeps contained. And you can sense it. It's that invisible pull that keeps you aware of him, even when he's across the room. Have you ever noticed how the energy in a room changes when certain people walk in? You might not even see them, but suddenly you feel something lighter, warmer, more awake. That's what love does. Awakens energy. It's the reason you catch him watching you when he thinks you're not looking. It's why the air seems to thicken when the two of you are close, like the universe itself is holding its breath, waiting for one of you to admit what's already known. But here's the truth: energy never lies. You can fake words, you can wear a mask, you can't hide your vibration. When he's quietly in love, everything about him leans toward you. His focus shifts, his priorities rearrange, and without even realizing it, he begins to orbit your presence. He becomes more attentive, more grounded, more present, because love anchors people. It makes them want to show up differently, even if they can't explain why. And if you've ever felt this, that unspoken current between you and someone, it's because your energy is responding too. Human heart recognizes its mirror long before the mind gives it permission. That's why it feels confusing. You sense something real, but it's not being said. You feel something building, it's still hidden behind friendship, politeness, or fear, and that's where the magic of human connection truly lies, in that sacred tension between what's seen and what's felt. When you start to sense that energy, that subtle shift when he's near, don't dismiss it. Don't second guess it. Feel it. Because sometimes quietest forms of love are the most authentic ones. They teach us patience. They teach us awareness. They remind us that love isn't something you find. It's something you feel long before either of you has the courage to speak it. And that's the power of presence. That's the value of what's unsaid, the space where real connection begins to bloom. You'll notice it in the smallest, most unexpected moments. He remembers things you barely recall saying. Maybe it's how you take your coffee, the name of your childhood dog, or that random movie you said you loved years ago. That's not coincidence. That's connection. When a man is quietly in love, he listens differently. He doesn't just hear your words. He studies the spaces between them. He's paying attention not because he has to, but because he wants to, because you've become important enough for his mind to make room for every detail. Think about it. Most people drift through conversations waiting for their turn to speak. But when he's in love and hiding it, he's tuned in. He remembers your stories, your laughter, even the way your eyes change when you talk about something that matters to you. He notices what makes you light up and what dims that light. That's the kind of awareness that doesn't come from attraction alone. It comes from emotional investment, from a heart that's engaged even when the lips stay silent. He'll remember what others forget because he's feeling you, not just observing you. You'll say something once, maybe about a book that changed your life or a dream you've been scared to chase, and weeks later he'll bring it up again casually, like it just came to mind. It didn't. It stayed with him because you stayed with him. You became a quiet echo in his thoughts, a presence that lingers long after the conversation ends. And you can sense it You'll notice he anticipates your needs without you asking. Maybe he sends you something that reminds him of a story you told, or he checks in at the exact moment you were hoping someone would. That's emotional memory at work. Love remembering you in the small ways that most people overlook. It's not the grand gestures that reveal truth. It's the subtle consistency of attention. What's powerful is that he might not even realize he's doing it. That's what makes it real. There's no strategy, no performance, no manipulation, just genuine care leaking through the cracks of his composure. Because when someone truly cares, their mind starts to prioritize your happiness. They absorb your world as if it's a part of theirs. And that's how you know the feeling is deeper than attraction. It's emotional intimacy forming quietly underneath everything else. Love, when it's authentic, doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't need to. It leaves breadcrumbs in the form of remembered details, gentle gestures, and thoughtful moments. He's not saying, I love you, but he's showing it in how he recalls the things that matter to you. Because remembering is a form of caring. It's a way of saying, you matter enough for me to keep you in mind. And here's what's really beautiful, this kind of attention changes you too. When someone sees you deeply, awakens something inside you, a sense of being valued, heard, and truly understood. It reminds you that love isn't about possession, it's about presence. It's about someone showing you quietly and consistently that they see who you are and they honor it. So when you notice that he remembers the tiny things, the hidden things, things you didn't even think mattered, don't overlook it. That's not random. That's love in its earliest, purest form, patient, observant, and quietly profound. Because sometimes the person who remembers the most about you is the one trying hardest not to reveal how much you mean to them. He may not always say it, but you can feel it. That quiet sense that he's looking out for you, not in a controlling way, not out of obligation, but out of genuine care. When a man is quietly in love, he begins to protect your peace, often before you even realize you need it. He becomes a silent guardian of your energy. You'll notice it in the little things he'll step in when someone speaks to you disrespectfully. He'll try to lighten your mood when he senses your spirit dipping, or he'll give you space when you need to breathe. That's love in disguise, steady, watchful, and deeply respectful. It's not about being possessive. It's about valuing your well, being enough to want to preserve it. He doesn't want to see you drained or hurt, and even though he might not have the words to express it, his actions start to speak for him. Maybe he checks that you got home safe, or he subtly shields you from negativity in a group conversation. Maybe he listens to you vent, not to fix you, but to let you feel heard. That's how real love shows up, not with noise, but with consistency. And here's what's fascinating. When a man loves quietly, his protective instinct isn't loud or aggressive. It's calm. It's in the way he stands a little closer when you're uncomfortable. It's in the way he pays attention to who or what affects your energy. It's in the way he becomes the calm in your chaos. He might not even fully understand why he does it, but it's instinctive because love always seeks to nurture. You see, protection isn't just about defending someone physically. It's about emotional safety. It's about creating a space where you feel seen, respected, and at ease. When he's quietly in love, he's not just drawn to your smile. He's committed, even silently, to what keeps that smile alive. He notices what triggers your stress and what restores your joy. He wants to be part of the solution, even if he never gets the credit for it. Sometimes he'll disappear for a bit, not because he's losing interest, but because he doesn't want to project his chaos onto you. That's his way of protecting you, too. Men who feel deeply often carry the weight of their emotions quietly. They step back not to leave, but to shield you from their storms. Love, especially unspoken love, has its own language, and one of its strongest dialects is protection. When someone protects your peace, it's because they recognize how rare it is. In a world that constantly pulls at your attention, drains your spirit, and demands your energy, having someone who wants to guard that light within you, even silently, is something sacred. He may not always get it right. He may stay quiet, unsure of how much he's allowed to care. But his effort, his awareness, that subtle way he moves in rhythm with your emotional world, that's proof enough. And you'll feel it. You'll feel calmer around him, safer, not because he's trying to control your life, but because his presence grounds you. That's what true love does. It steadies, it strengthens, it restores peace instead of stealing it. So when you notice that he shows up to protect your peace, when he shields your energy without making it about himself, recognize it for what it is. That's not just kindness. That's not just thoughtfulness. That's love quietly revealing itself through action. Because anyone can want you when you're shining, but the one who truly loves you is the one who silently guards the light that helps you shine. There's a truth that's impossible to hide. The eyes always tell on the heart. You can dress your words with logic. You can rehearse your composure. You can even convince yourself you're not feeling anything, but the eyes, they don't lie. They speak a language beyond control. When he's quietly in love and trying to hide it, it's in his gaze that you'll see the truth he's not ready to admit. He'll look at you in moments when he thinks you're not watching. That quick glance across the room, the soft focus when you're talking, instant of stillness where everything around him fades except you, and when you catch him, he'll look away just a second too late, trying to disguise the emotion that already gave him away. It's not just attraction, it's connection. There's a warmth in his eyes, a recognition as if he's seeing something familiar, something safe. You'll notice it in how his expression changes when you enter the room. His energy lifts, his face softens, his entire body language shifts without him even realizing it, because love doesn't always start with words. It begins with awareness. The eyes are simply the first to feel it. You might be in a crowded space, lost in conversation with others, and somehow you still feel his gaze. It's not intrusive, it's magnetic, it's the kind of look that doesn't demand attention but holds it quietly. There's something unspoken in it, sacred, like he's memorizing you not for the moment, but for keeps. And in those fleeting exchanges, entire conversations happen without a single word. Your eyes meet, and suddenly everything pauses. You both know there's something real there, but neither of you are ready to name it yet. This is what makes hidden love so powerful. It lives in the spaces words can't reach. When he looks at you that way, it's not just admiration, it's reverence. It's his heart recognizing something rare, something he doesn't want to risk by speaking too soon. Because deep love, especially when it's new or uncertain, often hides behind restraint. The eyes become the only safe outlet for what the heart can't contain. Sometimes he'll look at you like he's seeing a version of himself he forgot existed, lighter, more hopeful, more alive. That's what love does. It awakens the parts of us that have been sleeping. And when you catch that look, even for a split second, it can shake you, because in that glance you feel seen, not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are underneath it all. And yet, he'll pretend it means nothing. He'll change the subject, glance at his phone, or shift his attention somewhere else. But you'll feel that silent confession sitting in the space between you. That's the paradox of hidden love. The harder someone tries to conceal it, the louder it becomes. The eyes expose what the lips are afraid to say. You see, love has a way of breaking through even the strongest walls. It doesn't need grand gestures or declarations. Sometimes all it takes is one look, one honest, unguarded look that says, I see you, I value you, you matter to me more than I'm ready to admit. That moment is pure truth, because while words can be rehearsed, eyes are spontaneous. They reveal the soul's truth before the mind has a chance to hide it. So pay attention to those moments. The way he looks at you when you're laughing or when you're not looking at all. Notice the softness, the pause, the quiet awe, because that's where the real story lies, in the gaze that lingers a heartbeat too long, in the eyes that can't help but tell you, even when the lips stay silent, you are everything I never expected to feel. When a man is quietly in love but afraid to show it, his words often become his battlefield. You'll see it, that hesitation before he speaks, the small pauses, the nervous laugh after he says something that came out differently than he intended. It's not that he doesn't know what to say, it's that he's overthinking every word, because deep down, he knows that one wrong sentence could reveal everything he's been trying to keep hidden. Love makes the confident stumble, the articulate hesitate, and the calm grow uncertain. When feelings run deep, expression becomes risky. You'll notice it most when the conversation turns personal. Ask him something about how he feels or about relationships, and suddenly his words become softer, slower. He might deflect with humor or change the subject entirely. But there's a flicker of vulnerability there, a quiet truth hiding just beneath the surface. His heart wants to speak, but his mind is guarding it, afraid of being exposed. Because to admit how much you mean to him would mean surrendering control, and that's not easy for someone who's used to keeping his emotions contained. Sometimes he'll say things that sound casual on the surface, but carry hidden meaning underneath. He'll drop hints a compliment that feels deeper than it sounds, a question that digs a little too close to the heart. It's his way of testing the water without diving in. He wants to know if it's safe, if you feel it too. Every word becomes a careful balance between honesty and self-protection. And that's what love does. It makes people careful, not because they're insincere, because the stakes suddenly feel so high. There's a certain vulnerability in wanting someone so much that you're scared to break what doesn't even exist yet. That's why he hesitates. That's why he chooses silence sometimes. He's not being distant, he's being deliberate. Love turns simple conversations into emotional tightropes. Should he say what he feels and risk rejection? Stay quiet and risk regret? It's a silent struggle he lives with every time he's around you. But here's what's truly beautiful about that hesitation. It's honest. It means he's not playing games. He's not saying things just to impress you or get your attention. He's thinking, feeling, and measuring his words because what he feels is real. He doesn't want to ruin the connection by rushing it. He wants to honor it, even if it means waiting in the silence a little longer. You'll see it in those in-between moments when he starts to say something, then stops halfway, when his eyes search yours like he's looking for permission to continue, when he breathes and like he's about to confess something, then smiles instead. Those are the moments when love is fighting fear. That's when his heart is at war with his mind. And yet, even in his caution, his care speaks volumes. Because the truth is, he's afraid of losing what he hasn't even had the courage to call his. That's why his words come out careful, his tone gentle, his pauses meaningful. Love, when it's hidden, doesn't need to be loud to be felt. You can sense it in how he chooses his words, not to impress, but to protect the connection. When you find him stumbling over sentences or taking an extra second to respond, don't mistake it for indifference. That hesitation is the sound of emotion being filtered through fear. It's the pause between his heart wanting to leap forward and his mind pulling him back. It's not weakness, it's tenderness. It's the human instinct to guard what feels sacred. Because when someone's quietly in love, every word they speak around you carries weight. They're not just talking, they're trying not to say too much while still saying everything their heart feels. You can always tell how someone feels by how they spend their time. When a man is quietly in love but hiding it, his actions reveal what his words won't. No matter how full his schedule is, no matter how many obligations he has, he finds a way to show up, even in small, almost invisible ways. Because the truth is, no one is ever too busy for what truly matters to them. Time is the purest expression of love. You can fake words, but you can't fake presence. He might not say, "I miss you," but he'll check in to ask how your day went. He might not confess, "I care about you," but he'll remember to call after your big meeting or text you just to say, "I was thinking about you." These are the quiet signals of affection, the small investments of time that mean everything. You see, when someone is in love and unsure how to express it, they speak through consistency. They show up not once in a while, but over and over again in ways that prove their care is intentional, not accidental. It's in the way he makes space for you in his day. Maybe it's a few minutes stolen between meetings, a late night message before he sleeps, or a spontaneous drive just to see you for a moment. Love has a way of bending time. It doesn't always require grand gestures, just effort. And effort, especially quiet effort, is the truest form of attention. He's saying without words, "You matter enough for me to make time for you." There's a certain beauty in that subtle persistence. He might act casual about it, like it's no big deal, but it is. Because behind every small moment is a choice. He could have spent that time elsewhere, with friends, on work, with distractions, but instead he chose to connect with you. That choice, repeated again and again, is love's fingerprint, and you'll notice something deeper. Even when he's not physically there, he's still present. He remembers your routine, your dreams, your worries. He asks about things you mentioned once long ago. That's time too, not in hours or minutes, but in thought and focus. When someone thinks about you throughout the day, even without reaching out, they're giving you mental space. They're carrying you with them quietly through all the noise of their world. What's powerful about this is that it's not about dependency or obsession. It's about priority. He's not rearranging his life for you. He's integrating you into it. You've become part of his rhythm. And that's how love begins, not with dramatic declarations, but with simple, repeated presence. It's the call that comes at the end of a long day, the "did you eat" message, the way he remembers to wish you good luck before something important. These gestures may seem small, but they're sacred. Sometimes he won't even realize how much he's doing. He'll just feel drawn to stay connected, to make sure you're okay, to share moments that don't really need a reason. That's when you know it's real, because love that's hidden doesn't stop expressing itself. It just finds quieter ways to be seen. And maybe that's the lesson here. Time reveals truth. If he keeps showing up, even without promises, even without labels, that's love speaking through action. Because in a world full of distractions and excuses, one who makes time for you is showing you exactly where you stand in his heart. Love doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers through effort, through moments carved out of chaos, through a presence that never seems to fade. So when you find that he keeps finding time for you, don't overlook it. That's not coincidence. That's devotion in disguise. Because at the end of the day, love isn't measured by how much someone says. It's measured by how often they show up, especially when they don't have to. Jealousy, it's one of those emotions we all try to hide, especially when we're pretending not to feel too much. When a man is quietly in love but hasn't admitted it, you'll often see it flicker through him in small, unguarded moments. He'll act calm and composed, maybe even indifferent, but his energy will tell another story. The shift is subtle. His tone changes, his jaw tightens slightly, his smile fades for a split second. When you mention another man's name, he won't say anything outright, but you'll feel it. That's not possessiveness. That's care trying to disguise itself as control. Jealousy, when it's pure and quiet, doesn't come from ownership. It comes from fear of losing something beautiful before it's even his. When a man feels that way about you, he won't lash out or accuse you. Instead, he'll retreat a bit, pull back into silence, trying to regulate emotions he doesn't quite know how to express. He might joke about it, brush it off, or change the subject, but inside, he's feeling the tension between his desire to protect his heart and his longing to be closer to you. You'll notice it most in his presence when other men are around. He'll become slightly more alert, not in an aggressive way, but attentive. He'll watch your interactions, not because he doesn't trust you, because he cares deeply and doesn't yet have a claim to express it. That's the quiet pain of hidden love, wanting to belong to someone while pretending not to want it. He's caught between admiration and restraint, trying to look unaffected while his emotions run wild beneath the surface. It's not just romantic jealousy either. You might see it when you talk about your dreams or people who inspire you. If someone else makes you light up, it stirs something in him, not anger, but a silent wish that he could be the one to make you smile like that. That's how you know his feelings go beyond attraction. He doesn't just want your attention. He wants your joy, your heart. Because he's unsure where he stands, he hides behind self-control. The irony is his effort to conceal it often makes it more visible. You'll see him withdraw slightly or become unusually quiet, like he's processing something he can't admit. He'll act like he's fine, but the energy around him tightens. And if you know how to feel beyond words, you'll sense it, that unspoken tension, that ache of someone who wants to be more but doesn't know if he's allowed. But there's beauty in that restraint, because what it shows is respect. He's not using jealousy to manipulate or to make you feel guilty. He's using it as a mirror to face his own emotions, to learn patience, to navigate the vulnerability that comes with caring deeply. It takes strength to feel jealous and not let it turn toxic. It takes maturity to love silently without trying to control the outcome. That's the kind of love that's rooted in growth, not ego. Sometimes that quiet jealousy is actually his heart's way of saying, you matter to me more than I expected. It's the raw truth behind his silence, the emotional evidence that he's invested, even if he's pretending not to be. Because the more someone tries to hide jealousy, the more it reveals the depth of their feeling. When you notice that subtle shift, that hesitation when you talk about someone else, that moment when his laughter doesn't quite reach his eyes, don't mistake it for disinterest. That's not distance. That's emotion under control. That's love learning to breathe through its fear. Because deep down, he's not jealous of the people around you. He's just wishing he could be the reason your heart feels full. And that quiet longing, held back with grace, is one of the most human, most honest signs of hidden love. You'll notice it in conversation. He'll talk about the future, but in a way that gently weaves you into it without ever making it obvious. Maybe he'll say something like, we should try that restaurant someday, or imagine traveling there. You'd love it. These are not random comments. They're glimpses into the way his heart is already including you in his vision long before he's ready to admit how much he wants you there. When a man is quietly in love, he begins to think ahead with you in mind. His plans, his dreams, even his casual thoughts start to expand around the idea of you. He might not say, "I see a future with you," because that would make it too real, too exposed, but he'll drop these hunts, small, almost playful, as if he's testing how it feels to imagine you beside him. That's how love often reveals itself, not through declarations, but through subtle inclusion. The future becomes less about me and more about we. He might talk about concerts, vacations, projects, or even life goals, and somehow your presence slips into every version of what's next. There's something tender about the way it happens. It's not rehearsed. It's not forced. Organic, love blending quietly with imagination. He's not trying to make promises. He's exploring possibilities. Because when the heart starts to care deeply, it naturally begins to picture what life would feel like if that connection continued to grow. It's not about ownership. It's about belonging. It's the quiet desire to build, not just to feel. And if you pay close attention, you'll see how his tone changes when he speaks about the future. There's a light in his voice, a warmth that only appears when he's describing something that matters to him. He'll laugh when he says, "Would probably argue about that," or "You'd hate the weather there." But underneath the humor is something sincere, a vision that includes you. He's not saying it outright, but in his mind, thought of you being there just feels right. You might also notice how his decisions start to reflect this subtle consideration. He'll ask your opinion on things that don't really involve you: what car he should get, what city he's thinking about visiting, what path he's considering next. It's not just curiosity, it's emotional alignment. He values your perspective because deep down, he's already integrating your voice into his life choices. That's not something people do when they're indifferent. That's love planning without permission, and yet he'll never say it directly. He won't confess, "I want you in my future," because that would make his feelings undeniable. So instead, he hides it in casual phrases, in playful what-ifs, in shared dreams that sound hypothetical but carry emotional truth. Love that's quiet is often wrapped in possibility. It doesn't demand an answer, it just hopes for one. What's powerful about this kind of hidden love is that it reveals both courage and caution. Courage, because he's allowing himself to imagine you in his life. Caution, because he's protecting that vision from rejection. It's a delicate balance, wanting you to know you matter, but fearing that saying it out loud might scare you away. But make no mistake, when a man starts talking about someday and "way" instead of "I," that's his heart showing itself in the gentlest way possible. It's his soul taking small, safe steps toward vulnerability, because real love doesn't rush. It reveals itself slowly, through intention, through vision, through the quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, you see the same future too. So when he talks about the future and somehow you're always there, in the jokes, in the plans, in the dreams, pay attention. That's not imagination. That's emotion. That's a heart that's already chosen you, but hasn't yet found the courage to tell you. You might not always see it, but he's there, in the background, quietly cheering you on. When a man is deeply in love, but trying to hide it, one of the most telling signs is how genuinely he supports you. He wants to see you win, even if he's not part of your victory. He celebrates your growth, your courage, your confidence, and he does it without asking for anything in return. That's love in its purest, most selfless form, caring for someone's evolution more than his own comfort. He'll encourage you when you're doubting yourself. He'll remind you of your strengths when you can't see them. He'll be the one who believes in you quietly, without fanfare, without taking credit. Sometimes you won't even realize how much he's doing for you emotionally, because his support doesn't come through grand speeches. It comes through quiet consistency. He shows up with a few words at the right time, or a steady presence when everything feels uncertain. And that's what makes his love different. It's grounded, patient, and profoundly respectful. When you talk about your dreams, he listens, not just to respond, but to understand. He wants to know what drives you, what scares you, what you're working toward. And once he does, he holds that knowledge like something precious. You'll notice he remembers what matters to you: the exam you were nervous about, the interview you were waiting for, the art you wanted to share but felt shy about. He'll bring it up later, asking how it went, not because he's making conversation, but because he genuinely cares. And here's the beautiful paradox: even when he hides his love, his encouragement exposes it. You can't fake that kind of sincerity. A man who's secretly in love finds joy in your growth. He doesn't compete with you, he contributes to you. He doesn't feel threatened by your strength. His ego steps aside because his heart has already chosen you, and love, real love, doesn't want to limit, it wants to lift. He might share resources, give advice, or just listen when you need to vent, but it's never about proving himself, it's about helping you stand taller. And often, that's how you'll know his feelings run deep, because support is one of love's truest languages. When someone quietly invests in your success, even from a distance, it means they've placed their heart somewhere beyond their pride. Sometimes he'll do it without recognition. He'll talk you through a tough decision, encourage you to take a risk, or remind you that you're capable, and then fade into the background once you've found your strength again. He won't say, "I helped you." He'll just smile, because watching you rise is reward enough. That's how you know it's love, when someone finds fulfillment in your happiness. And even when you fail or stumble, he doesn't lose faith in you. He sees your potential through your pain. That's rare. Most people disappear when things get messy, but he stays, maybe not always physically, but emotionally, in spirit, in thought. He roots for you quietly, even when you're not aware of it. He's the one you'll look back on and realize, he believed in me before I did. That's the kind of love that doesn't need validation. It's not loud, it's not performative, it's real. It's the kind that doesn't ask, "What do I get from this?" But rather, "How can I help you become more of who you're meant to be?" That's not just affection, that's devotion. So when you notice that someone is always there, supporting, uplifting, reminding you of your worth even in silence, pay attention. That's not coincidence. That's love operating beneath the surface, unannounced, unwavering, and deeply sincere. Because when a man truly loves you, even if he's hiding it, he'll find 1,000 quiet ways to build you and not one to break you. You always know it when it happens. That feeling when he's gone and suddenly everything feels a little quieter. That's when the truth reveals itself. Because when a man is quietly in love but hiding it, his absence often speaks louder than his presence ever could. You start to notice how much space he actually filled, how many moments were lighter because he was there. It's not about dependency, it's about energy. His presence had rhythm, warmthness, and when it's missing, you feel it like a song that suddenly stops mid-note. When someone truly cares for you, they leave a residue of peace, comfort, and meaning wherever they go. You might not realize it while he's around, because love that's subtle often blends into the background. It doesn't demand attention, it simply is. But when that energy disappears, you start to see the outline of what it meant. You replay conversations, those small gestures, those moments that seemed ordinary but now feel sacred. That's when you realize he wasn't just another person in your life, he was a presence that shifted your state of being. This is what makes hidden love so powerful. It's not always in the words or the grand moments, but in what's missing when it's gone. You feel the absence not just in your routine, in your emotions. It's in the quiet moments when you're doing something simple and his memory appears uninvited. It's in the places you shared laughter, in the songs you both loved, in the times you wish you could share something with him but can't. That's the echo of unspoken love, still alive, still resonating, even in silence. And maybe that's the hardest part about someone who loves you quietly. They never demanded space in your life, yet they took up so much of it. You didn't realize how deep the connection went until the energy changed. But that's what real love does. It doesn't announce itself with noise. It imprints itself with meaning. When he's gone, world doesn't fall apart. It just feels slightly less alive. You'll also notice that even in his absence, his influence lingers. The way he encouraged you, the way he made you feel seen, those things don't fade, they become part of you. And sometimes that's his final gift. He helped you grow, not by staying, but by leaving. His silence teaches you something his words never could, that love doesn't need proximity to be real. It can live in memory, in gratitude, in transformation. But here's the beautiful truth: if his absence carries that much weight, it means his presence was genuine. It means the connection was real, even if it wasn't labeled or spoken. You see, real love doesn't end when someone steps away. It just changes form. It evolves from conversation to reflection, from connection to clarity. It becomes a quiet reminder of what it means to be touched by someone's soul, even for a moment. So when you feel that emptiness, that subtle ache where his energy used to be, don't fight it, feel it. Because that feeling isn't loss, it's proof that something real existed, even if it was never confessed, proof that love can live quietly, beautifully, and meaningfully, even in absence. And maybe that's the final lesson. Sometimes the value of someone's presence is revealed only when it's gone, because the ones who love us silently often leave the loudest echoes in our hearts. And those echoes, that feeling that something sacred once moved through your life, that's what reminds you that love, no matter how hidden, was always real.